Hi Soul Space, Sheila Hill here, 9 o'clock, well slightly after 9 on Monday night. Just going to wait for a few people to hop on before I get started. But I'm really excited to be bringing you the information that I'm bringing you tonight because I think I know I've been going bigger rather than doing like the real personal work about the lives. I've been talking about a lot of the bigger stuff because I'm trying to sort of help people understand the big picture and sort of connect all the dots. So tonight's talk is going to be all about the collective consciousness, the concept of time, what healing, when we talk about healing our stuff, what that's really doing, and collapsing timelines. So it's a really juicy live. There's a lot of information. So as you come on, just say hello in the comments. I'm also wondering how everybody's doing. How's everybody feeling? If maybe as you come on and you say hello, you can just sort of post in the comments of, hi Linda, how you're feeling, either how you're feeling today or if it shifted at all throughout the day, how everybody's doing. Because I kind of like to know. I'm here in my, hi Ann, I'm here in my little silo doing my thing and just sort of want to know how everybody's doing. I was doing really good today. I had no clients today. It was behind the scenes day for me, taking care of some background admin stuff for my business. And then at about, I don't know, like 6:30 or 7 o'clock tonight, I felt like I got hit by a truck. And like literally all of my joints are really hurting me tonight. So I mean, I know what it is. I know it'll pass. Hi, Kathy. And that after I do this live, then I will go and scrub up and get ready for bed. You're feeling ready. I was like that today, Anne, too. Like I was like playing music and I had my diffuser on and I was like high vibing all day and then feel like I really crashed. Linda, you've been in bed most of the day? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is it just mostly the ascension symptoms type things? Hi, Poonam. Glad to see you're here. So, hello, Crystal. Welcome. I'm glad you found us. So, yeah, go ahead and post in the comments. I'm good, Poonam. Nice to see you too. I haven't seen you in a long time. So I'm going to dive right in and start tonight's live and the information that I want to share. Now, it does piggyback a little bit with last week's when I did my demonstration on the concept of oneness. So, and like the collective consciousness and how when we talk in the spiritual communities about we are one with each other and we are one with the spirit realm, with God or universe or all that is. So if anything about tonight just like doesn't quite connect the dots, then if you go into the Soul Space group where you are now, and you can actually go at the top where it says like photos and events, and then there's a tab there that says videos. When you click the videos tab, you'll get all of the lives. So any of them that you've missed, you can go back and watch. You can go back and watch the one from last week about oneness. So what I want to talk to you about tonight is first of all about collective consciousness. So we have our own consciousness, obviously. Those are the thoughts and beliefs and emotions that we have about our own experience, about ourselves and about our life. And then that emits whatever that is that we're feeling, believing, or experiencing in our own consciousness. It emits out into the world in that sort of like we're our own version of Wi-Fi. So it comes out of us and it goes out into the world, and everybody's stuff is all out in the world. So when you're moving around and living your life, you're actually in like a collective consciousness energetic soup. So that's when you talk about, hi Beatrice, nice to see you. So that's when you talk about picking up on other people's energies and picking up a lot of fear and anxiety from the collective. So I know we've talked about that before, and it's, you know, mentioned in lots of articles and things like that as well. So, for example, in countries where there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of intolerance, there's a lot of lack mentality and poverty ideas and fears and belief systems, it's no big surprise that that collective consciousness for that part of the world actually manifests into form exactly those things. reasons to be fearful, reasons to live in lack, and reasons to live in poverty, because that's what their collective consciousness is manifesting. So you look at countries, that where there's war, or where there's, well, a lot of the wars are created over intolerance to religions and belief systems, right? So then you flip that coin and you look at somewhere like here in North America, and on the most part, none of us really go around in our day-to-day living in that kind of fear, that level of intolerance. We're a very tolerant culture, and we don't have the fear, the sort of the root chakra stuff, where it's really about the fear of the basicness, being able to meet our needs for the basic necessities of life. And therefore, that's not our experience. So we're manifesting as a collective consciousness an abundance of those things because that's what we believe. We believe that it's easy to find food and water because we just go to our tap when we go to the grocery store. So in very basic, simple forms, example, very, very basic example, I just wanted you to start to understand the idea that our own consciousness, our own beliefs, emotions, and feelings and thoughts then are emitted out into the world and create what's called a collective consciousness. And then the collective consciousness has the ability to manifest into form as well. So stay with me. We're putting this all together because now I'm going to jump topics. So that happens. Then there's the concept of time. And time as we know it in its linear form is not real. Time is infinite. Time can't be spent. The idea of time and the way that we manage time with clocks and the way we all conform to spring forward and fall back and our calendar and all of that, they're all human confines and human constructs to allow us as a society, as a collective, to get along with one another. And it's sort of our basic form of communication in how that we are going to meet each other and things like that. But the actual concept of time in that linear form does not exist. So time cannot be spent. Time is infinite. It's always being created. It's always in other forms and other places and other dimensions. So take the fact that other countries have different times than we do. And then move out from that expanded thinking and keep going and keep going and keep going. Now, space is something that you can move through. Hello, hi Nancy. So space is something that you can move through. So you can get up and you can move through space. So space is quantifiable, space is measurable. Even when there's nothing in it, it's still something that can be measured. So you can get up and you can walk across a room and spend space. You can shift through space, but you can't spend or shift through time in its purest form. Again, that is a human construct. So in actuality, and I know this, and I still have a little bit of trouble, I'm still learning my words and expanding my understanding of the concept that time's not real and that our past life, our current life, and our future lives, and our soul's fragmented experience through all possibilities of time and across all dimensions are all happening at once. It's vast. And it's too much for our little brains to understand sometimes. So just to bring your awareness about time, sort of like from this little, well, this is what the clock says, to sort of a broader scope understanding of how time works, I'm now going to link together that concept of oneness, the concept of the collective consciousness and how the collective manifests as a collective, and the concept of time, and talk to you a little bit about why the healing work that we are being pushed into doing, or some of us choose to do and stay on that path, how that is affecting the concept of time, the concept of oneness, and the concept of the collective consciousness manifestation. So when you do your personal work, now for those that may be new seeing this, I am a life coach, a spiritual guide, and an energy healer. So I help people do the deep sacred work. There are varying different degrees of coaches out there, and they're all wonderful, and they all have special niches and things that they specialize in. And I specialize in the more deep sacred work. So this is where my piece of it, and especially the fact that the ascension process is so incredibly fascinating to me. And I tend to resonate best with clients that are also interested in the idea of the ascension and spirituality. So that's sort of who I work with. So when I work with clients and the deep sacred work that I've done with myself, and believe me, it's a lot. And I'm going to share a little story with you at the end of this live, because it just wraps everything up so beautifully for everything that I'm talking about tonight. So when you do your deep sacred work, the energy that lives inside your body and in your unconscious mind as memory of emotions, grief, experiences, childhood trauma, those types of events, the energy lives in your body. Excuse me, and it waits. It waits for a time for it to have permission to come up, to be validated, to be given a voice, and for it to be healed and loved and released, so that your body can take on the new light codes of the ascension process that we are all in right now. And as I always say on my lives, everybody's on the bus. Whether you think you're on the bus or whether you even know you're on a bus or that there is even a bus, every single person on the planet is going through ascension right now. Hi, Tenley. So back to doing your work. So we're at a point now in the ascension process, and ascension has been going on for years and years. It's just really, really turned up the volume since about 2012. So we're all going through it, and we're all being pushed to purge, heal, release, and love the parts of ourselves that are the lower density energies. Hi, Shannon. So any experience, as I said, grief, childhood trauma, any experiences at all that would constitute being a denser energy that's still living in the body is coming up, and it's coming up for healing. And sometimes it passes through the body as pain, and we don't even know, like you have really achy joints, and maybe you caught the flu in the last month or so, and you're like, I don't even know what's wrong with me, but I just feel awful. And the actual ego conscious mind can't quite calibrate what that is, but it is a purge. It's a part of the ascension process. It is realigning you at a physical level so that you can absorb and integrate into the higher ascension light codes of the light. So actually replacing the lower, denser energy in your body with light, like the love and light. Yeah, that light. Our DNA is actually shifting. It's shifting from being a carbon-based DNA to a crystalline-based DNA. We are shifting out of the dense physicality of our humanness into actually having our light body, our soul's body, living inside a human form. It's all very, very fascinating. So anyway, back to my talk about healing. So this is the process that we're going through, and it's not just only when I meditate and and this like spiritual thing. It's a very physical thing that's happening to our bodies. And in a lot of ways, the old muscle memories and the old energies in our bodies are like going, what the hell is going on? And that's okay, because we've learned along the way, and we're still learning how to fine tune it, but we've learned along the way to hold love and compassion for ourselves, even when we don't know what the hell is going on. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't say the F word there. So again, back to the healing. So when you do the healing, imagine that, and this is like, I'm visual, so this is the way I would envision being able to explain this to you. Imagine that you have 100 bungee cords coming from your body, going back into various timelines and times in your life where there's an experience, where there was trauma, pain, grief, disappointment, some kind of emotional something that required healing that hasn't been dealt with. So you're trying to move forward in the ascension process. Well, whether you're trying to or not, you are being pushed forward. And your soul agreed to all of this and knew exactly what it was coming in for, by the way. And I know sometimes we go, shit, I should have read the fine print. Anyway, you're trying to move forward and you can't move forward or ascend because you have 100, 1,000, 10,000 bungee cords of all denser, low vibrational experiences, thoughts, beliefs, and emotional trauma that's holding you back. So in actuality, what that means is there is like a holographic portal that is still alive, a fragment of time of that situation that's still alive, that's feeding off the energy in your body, that low vibrational energy, because it still hasn't been loved and released. So every time you allow the process to happen and be in non-resistance to whatever is coming up, whether it's physical or emotional, you are allowing the processing of that situation, that portal, that timeline to come up through you so that it can be healed and released, and that particular timeline can then be collapsed. So you imagine that each time that you do your work, and I'll use my own life as an example. So like we'll go back to, I'm a handful of things. So we could go back and say, so maybe I had a portal with a timeline that was attached to a miscarriage that I had. And then there would be one around the grief when my mom passed away, the grief when my dad passed away. There would probably be a whole bunch of timelines or like energetic holographic portals of situations surrounding when my marriage ended. So I can't physically move forward or ascend until I've healed and released all of those bungee cords, all of those timelines of experiences that need to move through me so that they can be healed and released. Hi Claire, glad you could join us. So you imagine what happens then is as you heal and release whatever trauma it is from your past, from however long ago, and in actuality, we have actually been clearing stuff from like lifetimes and lifetimes, not even necessarily stuff from this lifetime, so that those bungee cords that are holding us back from ascending can be cut. Those timelines and those holographic portals to times and situations and events can be closed and healed with love so that we can move forward. So imagine you're stuck back and then all of those bungee cords, whether you have 10 of them, 100 of them, or 1,000 of them, all get cut. Imagine how you can catapult forward then by absorbing all of that new light into your body by releasing that lower, denser energy. Are you still with me? So that is the purpose of doing the healing work, is you are actually physically collapsing holographic timelines in your own soul's existence so that you can ascend. It is way, way bigger than you could have ever imagined. When you sit, and you know, those of you that are working with me or have worked with me in the past, and you sit and you think, you have a little cry and we talk about things and I shift your energy and I pull some stuff off you and you go home and you're like, wow, you know what? I feel lighter somehow. Ha ha ha. It's actually because you are. When you do the healing work, you are actually feeling lighter because over a process of time, you are able to replace that lower, denser energy in your body with higher vibrational energy. And then the higher vibrational light codes that go into your system allow you to high vibe more often because that's why they're there. So the process is way, way bigger than you could ever imagine. Now, that happens on a micro level, meaning individually, when you're looking at just one person at a time. you know, because you've all been on this path long enough to know that everyone is ascending, everyone's on the bus, whether they know there's one or not, everybody's being forced to do their work. And if they're not looking at their stuff and actually doing their work, it's being forced upon them. So relationships are breaking down. People are physically getting dis-ease in their body that are making them perhaps stop certain behaviors that have been causing the dis-ease, or making them stop so that they would actually look at their life and look how far out of alignment they are. People are losing their jobs. There's all kinds of events that are happening in people's lives that if they don't look at their stuff, if they don't take the little nudges, the universe is going to give them a big push. So on a micro level, everybody is doing this timeline collapsing, or their inner work, or the sacred work, or their own internal healing, or they're purging their shit, or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's doing it. So that brings us back full circle to the beginning of tonight's live, where I'm talking about the collective consciousness and collective manifestation. So if we had a room full of 10 people, and we call that the planet, and all 10 people came into the room, low vibrational energy, requiring healing, not judgment, just that they required healing. They all had 100 bungee cords to 100 different times in their lives where there was trauma of some kind that needed healing. And we took that 100 people, those 10 people, and we did the work with them and raised their vibrations and collapsed their timelines and moved them into alignment with their ascension process and their soul's purpose. Can you imagine the difference that it would make to the vibration of that room? So as we do our own micro work, we are having a huge effect on the collective consciousness. And then the collective has timelines. Mother Earth has her own ascension goals, we'll call them. So as the individual consciousnesses, the individuals, the micro level, shift their awareness, take on new light codes, collapse those old timelines, do their stuff, do their work, and move into a lighter space, a more high vibrational space, you're bringing that high vibrational version of yourself into that collective soup that I talked about at the beginning of the live. And then that, it comes together with everyone else's higher vibrational collective, and that is how we heal the planet. Now, collectively, timelines collapse as well. And there was one that happened, it was back in January, and I want to say the 12th. But I felt something happening, but of course I couldn't put my finger on. Everything that happens now is new, so you can't really put your finger on, oh, I felt this before. I felt this 3 weeks ago. Because everything we're doing, everything we're going through is new, but I felt something happening. And whenever I feel something energetically happening on a planetary level, I go looking to try and find the answers. And so here around January 12th, the planet as a whole actually collapsed a timeline. And what that does is it takes everyone in the collective and catapults them forward into a higher vibrational frequency. And when that happens, their body goes, what the hell's going on? Nothing feels right. So it was kind of one of those events that happened that made me kind of go down the rabbit hole on understanding timelines and the concept of time, and how each one of us, when we do our healing work, are actually collapsing old timelines from our past and past lives, and then allowing ourselves to bring that newer ascended version of ourselves to the collective so that we can collectively manifest a more healed space for everyone to live in. So that is that. Now, I said I was going to share a story, and I will share it. I didn't think I was going to, but I'm feeling okay about sharing it. So eventually you guys always get my stuff, because that's just how I roll. But I just had to kind of check in with myself and make sure that I was ready. And I am. So to just give you a picture, and I always want to say with these stories that, well, I'm not special, but in actuality, I am special. And I'm going to share with you the incredible power of healing that happened through me in the month of February. Remember, I did the live in February saying, oh, it's been a rocky month, and it had been for a lot of us. But this didn't happen for me, through me, or to me because I'm special, which I am. It's just to give you guys an example of how incredibly powerful doing this healing work actually is, and that you are all incredibly special and powerful and having an impact beyond what your mind can even begin to imagine. And when I share this story, you guys are going to be like, holy cow, that must be what I'm doing too. And I want you to take it. This isn't mine. I'm sharing it with you because I want you to take it. I want you to see yourself in me, and I want you to take that power, and I want you to take it and know that it's happening to all of us, for all of us, and through all of us. All right, so I'll stop blabbering. Here's the story. Very, very short version. As most of you know, I'm single. Met a man in January. It was like a house on fire. An amazing connection. Felt at a very deep level. It was like a relationship right away. Everything was tootling along on point. Great, great, great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It was triggering for me a little bit of anxiety, which I haven't gone through in years. But I was just like, of course it is, Sheila. You know, this is the first time you've kind of felt this way since your separation. Bound to trigger you in some way and form. There's only so much work you can do by yourself before someone else has to come in to show you the spots that you didn't quite catch, right? So I was very open with him about how I was feeling when I would get a little bit wobbly or insecure, and he was wonderful about it. It was all great until it wasn't. And clear out of the blue, and not so out of the blue, but clear out of the blue, he decided that he wasn't sure about moving forward. And so we were sitting having lunch and we were talking about it, and he's like, I need you to coach me, and I'm trying to coach him. But really there was a 16-year-old girl inside of me that just wanted to fall apart and go, oh my God, please don't leave me. And so the decision was made that we weren't going to see each other anymore. So I got in my car and I drove home, and my entire body went rigid, and I came into my house and fell into a puddle of tears and felt emotion and stuff coming up for me that was just like so crazy that I was like, what is this even about? You know, like, yes, I'm sad and I'm disappointed, but that's where I should be. And here I feel like I'm actually having a nervous breakdown. It was very, very physical, and it was incredibly intense. So I contacted a psychic coach that I'm connected to in London, England, and we got on Skype, and she channeled my guides and said that this gentleman had been brought to me to trigger some of the deeper healing that I hadn't done yet with respect to my separation, and then going back to my dad, and going back not only to my dad when I know of a situation when I was a teenager that he and I had issue, but actually going back to the fact that he was never emotionally available to me as a little girl. And so there was programming that lived within me that was very related to, I'll show you, I have to move so you can see, very much of me putting my heart in my hands and offering it, you know, to my dad, please love me. To my ex-husband, here's my heart, please love me. And then again to this man saying, but everything feels so perfect between us. Here's my heart, I'm offering it to you now. And being rejected, rejected, rejected. So she said, you know, you're going to have to just feel through this. This is a root issue for you around the concept of love, and it's affecting your level of self-love. Like I had reached kind of like a glass ceiling in learning how to love myself. And my big ask this year was to be aligned to my soul partner. And that was sort of going to be a barrier. I wasn't able to align myself to my soul partner because I had this baggage that I didn't even know still existed that was living inside of me. So I, excuse me, walked my walk, walked my talk. Yeah, walked my talk. I was kind, I was compassionate. I allowed myself to cry it out, to feel it out. I journaled, I meditated, I made soup. I disconnected for 3 or 4 days. And then I was really gentle with how fragile I felt, sort of coming back into my life again after that time. And, you know, I'm totally fine now. Obviously, I'm sharing this with the world, apparently. But then I went to my mentor, who taught me the energy work that I do. And so I went for my sort of annual one-on-one with her. And she looked at me and she went, "Oh my God, there's been a man and you're really messed up." When she looked at my energy, I'm like, yes, it's been quite a ride. So she was recalibrating some of the systems in my body and working through the energy fields and my timelines and all of that stuff. And she said to me, "Do you even realize what you've done?" And I was like, "I don't know, but it was massive." Like whatever it was, my ego freaked out and judged the crap out of me that I'm 46 years old and get a grip. But I know there was something more. And she said, "Sheila, you healed 8 of your past timelines through this one incident. 8 times in past lives that you have come back with that same programming of heart and hand to a man saying, 'Please love me.' 8 times you've not been able to heal it and get through it, and you've had to come back and do it again and do it again. And in this lifetime, in this incident, just a few weeks ago, you cleared it." And I was like, holy cow. Like, there's like a little part of the ego that goes, fucking powerful. So then she said, "But you're not done. The other piece of it that you've also healed, and this package was huge for you, is you have cleared 18 ancestral timelines going back through the ancestors, your mom, your grandmother, and whatever other female machinations of souls through your ancestral DNA, 18 of them who also had that same issue. The sort of daddy issues, the man issue of lack of worthiness, which blocks self-love. So that is incredibly huge. So the way she explained it to me is that those 18 ancestors at a soul level can't heal themselves. Well, this part I knew. They can't heal themselves where they are, in heaven or quantum or wherever it is you believe they are, because they don't have resistance there. There are no sort of, lessons to be learned for them because they don't have an ego, they don't have the concept of time, and there is no resistance. Everything is already love. But in order for their soul to evolve, they need to come back. And now, if and when any one of those 18 ancestors choose to come back and do the human thing again so that they can experience more spiritual growth, they won't have to do that story again. This was a package that I agreed to in my soul contract, that I would come back and I would heal this for both myself and for them. And that was the incident that happened for me in February. Am I special? Abso-freaking-lutely. And are you? Because I want you to take this to know that on the days where you feel crappy and the days where you're crying and you just don't understand and your ego's judging you, know that you are powerful beyond belief and that there is likely a way, way bigger healing at play than what you think is going on in your own little life. I want you to take that on board, because sometimes you reach a point in this journey, and I have been there myself, where you're like, you know what? I want off the fucking bus. I am done. I'm done being a guinea pig. I don't want to do this personal work anymore. I have been there, and I know that some of you have very recently been there, but I want you to understand, I think I've kind of brought it all together in this one live tonight, It's all about the oneness. It's all about a bigger picture. It's about collective consciousness and how we manifest the world around us through that collective thinking. It's about the power of doing our own healing and getting rid of those bungee cords so that we can take on the new light energy and step into our gifts. We all have gifts. To be able to step into our power and our divinity and live the life that we want to live. And know that as we're doing that, we're making sure that we don't ever have to come back and do this crap again. And likely, you're doing it for your ancestors too, which is absolutely huge. So, wow, that was some live. Who has questions or comments that they'd like to share before I wrap this up? Excuse me, Poonam, that's funny. Not only does she want off the bus, she wants a refund too. There is no getting off the bus, my friend. There is no getting off the bus. There's surrendering to the ride, and there is reaching out for help when you need it. Unfortunately, there's no getting off the bus. Oh, thank you, Anne. You're more than welcome. I look at myself and my role here, and what I do is that being transparent and vulnerable, it's important to me. And I can't always do it the day after it happens, but I always get there. And I hope that in doing that for you, like for myself, to be vulnerable and transparent, that I'm helping others learn that it's okay to be vulnerable and transparent too, because we need the connection with each other, and that's where the healing happens. Hi, Linda. Hi, Sheila. How fast can we do this? Excuse me, that's you and your silly ego. Always wants things to be chop. There's no speeding up the bus either. There's just plugging along and finding the little bits of joy and the little bits of happiness that you can along the way. If you really look, and some days you don't have to look hard, there is always something to be grateful for and some way to have fun. And if there isn't, then you should be going and looking for it. Because this is about being in the ebb and flow, right? It's very ego to think that every day we should be happy and high vibing and on point and feeling good and rocking our lives every day, because it's not realistic. So you got to learn how to ebb and flow. And when it's an ebb, that's all it is. Don't attach a story to it that it's a disaster. It's just an ebb. And when it's flow, celebrate it. Celebrate your wins. Claire, deep sigh. Thank you for your insights. You're welcome, love. Anybody else have anything else they want to comment? So I'll wrap up this live then. Of course, I will stay on top of the comments as they come in. Tomorrow there is a big post coming out first thing tomorrow morning that will talk about some more cosmic events that are happening. Yay! To those of us that are sensitive to those types of things. So watch for that post. Wednesday reminder, Wednesday meditation, 10:30 in the morning and 7:30 at night. We talk about all of this stuff. We do energy. I do energy healing. Whatever anybody brings to the table on a Wednesday, we just tidy everybody up and do a meditation. So it's lots of fun. And then, excuse me, the super duperest, most exciting piece is that the Spring Soul Space Retreat has been launched. It is happening on April 27th, 28th, and 29th. There is posts in the group. You can also go to my website at sheilahill.ca to find out all the details. I can only take a maximum of 10 women with me, and it is a phenomenal event. We go through everything from your personalized sort of autopilots and personality tests that I know you've never done before, right through to who you are. So who you are as a woman, who you are as a human, who you are as a soul. We play with our spiritual gifts. And the really amazing and magical thing about this event is that when you set the intention by coming to the event, you set the intention to be healed, awakened, and to do some releasing and have a transformation happen. And I've set the space energetically and with my guides and healing that I provide that to everyone that comes. And guess what happens? It happens. It's just so amazing. And sometimes, as in the fall retreat, stuff happens that none of us could have even went, holy cow, I didn't even know I ordered that, but this is friggin' amazing. So we play with your spiritual gifts. I have a vegan chef that comes and spends the weekend with us. It's just an amazing event, and I already have 3 spots gone, so that leaves 7 more spots, and it's only been out since like Saturday or something. So I've had people that have been waiting for me to announce this. So if you're interested in the retreat, there are payment options. I mean, it's cheap. It's $555 all inclusive. So, I mean, it's a full weekend intensive of group coaching and energy work and everything with me. It's a beautiful place, and the food and everything's all included. So, like, why not treat yourself? So get in touch with me if you're interested. I'm just going to go back to Poonam had a question, if I can do that. Has anyone else been feeling extra sleepy? Yes. Feeling very sleepy. There's been, so if you go back through the feed in the Soul Space group, there's a couple of things that have been happening. There's a geomagnetic storm that's going through right now. Like I said, I have another post tomorrow. And then unexpectedly on, I think it was last Thursday or something like that, there was an ascension light code purge that came down through the planet as well. That's that concept of us absorbing more light where the denser energy used to live. So there has been a lot of planetary energetic influences on the planet. And yeah, the only way to get through it is to rest when you need to rest. And I mean, I nap. Sometimes it's like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, but I just kind of give into it. And lots and lots and lots of water. Water is how the energy flows. It's how you purge the lower vibrational stuff sometimes when you don't even really need to actually do anything. But water is the conduit that allows the energy to move. So upping your water is really, really important. I'm just going to go back and have a look at this. Oh, okay, great. I couldn't see the rest of your post. I only get the first couple of lines, Claire, but I'll go back on my laptop after I get off the live and comment and answer any questions or anything anybody else has. So we did it. This was a big one and lots of information. Okay, I am going to call it a night. You're welcome. I love you all. I want to thank those of you that come every Monday night and watch me live and participate. Those of you that only ever get me on the replay, I love you too. I love sharing this information with you, being a part of your journey, and building this community. So you know where to find me if you're interested in meditation, in the retreat, or doing some one-on-one work. And if you just need to reach out and touch someone that feels like it's just going to stabilize things a little bit, you can do that too. So good night to everyone. Love to you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.